and welcome to this episode of International Security Journal's Leaders in Security podcast series. My name's Goode and I'm the digital content editor of International Security Journal. On today's episode, I'm joined by Stelian Ilie, CEO and founder, Madalin Ilie, sales manager of EMEA, and Bianca Barbu, marketing director of MIRA Technologies. So before we begin, I wanted to introduce our listeners to MIRA Technologies. MIRA Technologies is a provider of intelligent security solutions that can anticipate threats and keep organisations running without disruption. Their solutions focus on real-world conditions and combine detection, automation and real-time monitoring to protect high-risk sites. Stelian, Madalin and Bianca, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. How are you today?
We're doing very well, thank you.
Great, and it's a pleasure to have you on today and a pleasure to be speaking to you. So is there anything that you wanted to add about the company before we jump into our questions?
Yeah, just something to add. The company has an experience in the security business since almost 30 years. So in the beginning, we have been an integrator, but over the time, seeing the challenges in the field of security, we decided to move on the manufacturer side. Because during the time, we got a lot of field experience, we got a lot of knowledges regarding the systems which have been on the market since almost 25 years ago. And we decided to bring some contribution to the technology in this field. And this is the reason why today MIRA Technologies is the manufacturer of the security systems.
I just want to say that MIRA Technologies, it's a technology company and it's doing innovation in what it does.
Okay, excellent. I mean, it's great to hear it from the experts of the company. So, firstly, Stelian, I wanted to go to you. How has the security industry evolved in the past 20 years?
So, based on our experience, 20 years ago, the security, it was based mostly on the guards and in the isolated systems. The most systems which have been used 20 years ago, it was based on the CCTV camera and anti-burglary systems. Usually at the time, the system used to work separately, not integrated in one platform. And it was quite difficult at the time for the guards or for the operators in the control room to do a proper security surveillance. It's very easy to explain. Imagine one site with 200 or 300 cameras. At that time didn't run analytics on the cameras, and how difficult it was for an operator to do a proper monitoring and surveillance on the site.
If I may add here from also like a marketing perspective or market perspective coming from technical industry, I believe that it was also a shift in the mindset of the users and the mindset of the customers. As Stelian mentioned, in the past, security used to be seen as a cost for a hardware, cost for equipment, but nowadays it's becoming more like a strategic investment, and companies are not always asking, are we protected, but they ask, can we operate without disruption? Because having a downtime, it means a lot of cost for a company, no matter what the business is. So things should run and should keep up in the same pace.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that statement, how it was just a cost now, but it's crucial. You have to have it now. There's no debate about you have to have integrated security into all of your systems.
Yes, 20 years ago, the risks haven't been such level we have today. At that time, the risk, it was mostly on the physical side. I mean, physical intrusion in one site, one place. But today, we have a different risk, and we have to think about the cyber security. Today, the risks are more complex than 20 years ago, and the challenges are even higher to mitigate such a risk today.
And the risk landscape just keeps evolving. Every day as time goes by, there's a new risk that could affect a certain company or certain business. Moving on from the first question, do you think you could tell me how you would define layered security and explain the benefits of integrating this into your security systems?
Thank you for the question. You have to think about layer security on a perimeter. Normally, a perimeter probably has a fence. And layer security means that you have sensors that protect you before you arrive to the fence, sensors that are on the fence, and sensors that protect you after the fence. The idea is like this: no technology is perfect, but if you think all together, it will help you to create reliability. And this layer security offers you early detection, reducing false alarm rates, and the ability to answer more rapidly and take the right decision, and of course lower the cost. This layer security as a concept was also awarded the nominalization in a big show at Intersect Dubai, where we were with the big vendors there. And also it was presented at Frontex, which is the authority for border police in EU, in a special praise for a digital twin for border management. So this is how I should explain a little bit the concept of layer security.
I like to add here about the network layers. It is, something similar with the physical layer, because Madalin explained a little bit about perimeter protection. But for the network, we have to think as well as a perimeter. And here I am referring especially, of course, for the cybersecurity, where you need as well a firewall segmentation and software dedicated to detect the intrusion on the network, which is very important. So both concepts are working together, hand to hand, shaken.
So we've spoken a lot about the positives and the benefits of implementing layered security. So for the next question, I wanted to start by asking you, why do so many security systems fail in real world conditions?
So, of course, on the market, you can find a large type of technologies and solutions developed by different manufacturers. A security system is very important to be tested and in some specific cases certified, because around the world there are different bodies, governmental bodies, which in several countries they put in place some rules, and in order, for example, to use security system to protect the critical infrastructure, first of all you have to test the system together with this regulator. So it's very, very important. So part of the systems, they are working very properly in the real conditions. Of course, as I mentioned, the system has to be very well tested in different scenarios, and part of the system doesn't work properly in the field because the system, they haven't been deployed in different scenarios and tested properly. And here we are talking about also the how the system is working in different environment, but also is we have to talk about how the systems can communicate between them, because here is the point. If you have the data isolated, which are coming from different systems, it will be very difficult for an operator to extract the information he may need in order to take a decision. So here the integration together with the artificial intelligence is playing a very, very important role. And today, having artificial intelligence, even if you do not succeed as a manufacturer to test 100% in the field, at least today you can build a simulator with enough data, if you have, in order to have a very well-trained system which can meet all the challenges, or maybe 99%, 95%, all the challenges from the real field.
I would like to add something here, but from the human perspective, because it's also important. We are talking about systems, equipments, perimeters, integrators, AI, but in the same time, it's very important to understand exactly what the customer needs. And this collaboration and listening what the customer requires and what are actually the challenges in that perimeter is very important. That's why we at MIRA Technologies, we manufacture our system, we offer them, but in the same time, we are also listening to our customers and not selling them some systems, but we advise and we do that together with them in order to make sure that the solution we provide is exactly what they need and they do not face any, let's say, struggles or challenges after the process is done, because this is also very important.
I'd like to add something more. So when you do a deployment of an integrated security system in the field, it's very important the design and planning from the beginning to be able to mitigate all the, let's say, breach of the security on the breaches of the possible security issues on the field. On top of this, let's say we do a successful deployment, but what is very, very important today because of the complexity of the systems today is the training of the personnel, the training of the users. Because once you deal with more complex systems, you need a better educated personnel who manage or operate the systems. And another point is the maintenance, because of course, once you have a system deployed on the field, you have to do the proper maintenance in order to keep the system running 24/7. It's very, very important. Sometimes the end users, somehow, because of the allocation of the budget, sometimes they do not pay attention on the training, which is very important, and the maintenance process after installation of the system.
I just want to add a few words because we were talking about artificial intelligence. Everyone and us have access to AI bots, and we learn what technology we should use for security to protect ourselves, and we are more informed when we are choosing the types of the sensor we should use. The company MIRA Technologies doesn't sell on the shelf. It sells and designs the sensors to be updated on the needs of a specific perimeter where they are installed. So at the beginning, we learn the environment and we can update the algorithm so we can lower the false alarm rate. This is very important from my point of view for the customers to feel safe. Flexibility and customization, I think there are one of the most key points in this field today.
Lovely, and I mean, it's really interesting to hear what you have to say. Stelian, I just wanted to go back to something that you spoke about, so personnel. So obviously personnel, you have to train them for it to be effective. And although a well-trained group of personnel have a positive impact, if they're not trained properly, it can have a negative impact. So although integrating security systems comes with many positives, like all integrations, there can be some limitations. So what are the biggest challenges when integrating multiple security systems?
Good question. The main issue when you work with different systems from different manufacturers and try to get together in one platform, unified platform, we are talking here about the compatibility and communication protocol from the systems. In the beginning, the manufacturers used to have their proprietary protocols, which made in the past quite difficult to do such integration. But over the time, most of the manufacturers applied for the standard protocols for the communication in order to make the systems to communicate one to each other, which is very important. The most problems are with the legacy hardware, legacy systems. When we are saying legacy, we are talking about even the systems since 2 or 3 years ago, because the technology evolved very, very fast. and sometimes it's really quite difficult, needs additional effort, research and development, and to integrate, because you have to develop some interfaces from scratch in order to integrate legacy systems into the new systems. And also we have to understand, the customers and the end users has to understand that you cannot use a system which was installed 10 years ago to be able to mitigate all the risk you have today. Because you cannot make a car with an engine which was developed, let's say, 10 years ago or 20 years ago to run today on the race with 400, 500 kilometers. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So the market, the end users, the customers has to understand that also in the security, sometimes it's needed to change all the systems from scratch. It's like in fashion.
So, Madalin, could you add a little bit to Stelian's point about end users and customers? Because as sales manager, I'm sure you have a lot to say about that.
I would add, I was thinking to add something. Just think about like this integrating, talking with many people from different languages. It will be hard to integrate and teach them the same language and to talk. MIRA Technologies acts like a one-stop shop. What does it mean? It has most of the sensors that you need to protect the perimeter. It's very easy for the customer to take different sensors for his layered security and integrate them in one place, then buying sensors from different vendors. Because it will be easy first time to configure. Natively they are integrated direct, and also offering maintenance. It is easy to talk with one company for one problem, then talk with one company for one sensor for every problem. It saves time and also money, of course. So this is the thing I should add for an advantage for the customer and the end user.
Lovely, thank you. So, Bianca, I wanted to go to you first for this next question. How is IoT changing the way security systems are designed and deployed?
If you remember when IoT appeared for the first time, it was 6, 7, 10 years ago, everybody was talking about IoT, but actually nobody didn't know exactly what it meant at that moment. So IoT right now, it's transforming from the security industry from a set of devices and sensors to connected intelligent system. And today we can say that we can talk about IoT or AIoT, like it's also mentioned in the past year. And what is more important is that everything is connected in real time, and there are decisions that are made in real time. Also in technology industry, we used to hear a lot that data is the new gold. Okay, data is the new gold, it's fine, but what we are going to do with, a bucket of data, they're just data. This data should be shaped in a certain way, should be calculated in a certain way, because this is the way we can make decision at the right moment. And the IoT right now, it lowers the gap between technology and decision making. So connects everything in one place and helps the industry decision makers and the users to really know exactly what is happening in real time.
Excellent, thank you for that. And Stelian or Madalin, did you have anything to add about IoT and how it's changing security?
So IoT, when we think to IoT, we have to understand that IoT helps very much for fast deployment and easy to use. It's very important. So what does it mean, fast deployment? The systems, equipments, the trend today, and it's correct, is to be autonomous. So it means powered by battery or solar panels. The connections has to be done through the Wi-Fi. That means a fast deployment. You do not need to allocate resources for the infrastructure, wired communication infrastructure, and also power supply. And easy to use and to operate is that in IoT, it's very important the edge computing and artificial intelligence. So today the systems and the equipment has to have embedded in the system on the field the capacity for the fast processing of the signals using the artificial intelligence to provide in the end to the operator or to the end user information and reliable information which is needed to take the correct decision in case of an event. And of course, together with, let's say, these features, it comes in a package. The other side, I mean, the risk you have with the cybersecurity. So there are a lot of challenges for the future development of the systems in order to meet all these requirements which are requested today by the market.
I would just say two words. IoT means integration, which MIRA Technologies does through its command and control SIM platform, a neutral platform. So we are on the track with the latest developments on the market, and we offer this possibility to be integrated in a platform, in a command and control platform.
I'd like to add the following. Madalin said that over the years we developed a bunch of systems, especially for the protection of the perimeter. So we decided to have a multiple layer solution because we learned it from the field over the years during the integration. For us, we faced a lot of problems which helped us to have a new approach as a manufacturer for the systems on the market. So once you manufacture different type of the systems, for example, fence protection system based on the sensitive cable, another fence protection system based on the fiber optic technology, underground systems based on the seismic sensors or fiber optic technology, radar technology, microwave technology, LiDAR technology. So all these systems put together in a project, integrated in one unified platform, can provide a really good security for the end user and for the customer. So this is what we do today with MIRA technologies. And also for us, it is a commitment to continue with the research and development in very serious way because the market provides us almost every day new challenges.
Brilliant. So this has actually brought us to our last question of the podcast today. We've spoken a lot about the past and we've spoken a lot about how technology has changed over the past few years. So I wanted to ask you, what trends do you think will define the future of security systems in the next 5 to 10 years?
If it's quite difficult today, but also it is could be a very simple answer. Today, what we have with artificial intelligence, in the future, the security systems can do or can provide for the customers something we cannot imagine today. Because day by day, the technology provides for us huge surprises. And even personally, I cannot see which are going to be the challenges in 10 years. For the shorter period of time, yes, but in 10 years, frankly speaking, for me, it is a bit difficult to make an estimation.
Continuation to what you are saying, Stelian, I think a big challenge will be the cybersecurity for all these systems because normally it will be integrated in one unified platform and having an AI bot which learns, every sensor will learn the way we act. They will learn what we do, and this information will be, if it will be in open without cybersecurity, it will be a big problem. Just think away, when your kids are going to school and you set up the sensors to open the door and to close the door. If someone has access to this information, I think it will be a big challenge.
I'm sure still today.
Yeah. Probably the focus will shift from having system to having visibility, predictability, and control in the same time. And the companies that will be able to transform data into actionable insights will define the future of the industry.
Yes, you gave me an idea. The most important, it will be the data analysis.
Otherwise, without data, you don't have any insights. It's just data. Everybody can have the data. If you don't know how to shape them in different scenarios and how to use them, then they're just data.
Great, thank you. Well, that's all we have time for on today's episode. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and it's been a pleasure to speak to all of you. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eve.
Thank you, Eve.
Thank you also to our listeners for tuning into today's podcast. I've been your host, Eve Goode, and please keep your eye and your ear out for our next episode coming very soon.